Welcome back to my channel. When grief takes hold, well-meaning voices often offer words meant to console you. They'll say things like, life's heaviest burdens are placed on those with the strongest shoulders. Yet for someone carrying the heavy weight of sorrow, those words can sting, they can deepen their anguish. They may begin to wonder, if God loves me, why has He chosen to overwhelm me with this sorrow? Even the most steadfast believers can find themselves shattered when faced with relentless grief. This was the heartbreaking reality for Anna, a story of resilience, of pain, and a fight against a terminal illness that tested her faith and spirit in unimaginable ways. Anna was born in Aba in the eastern part of Nigeria in Africa in 1965. She was the second of 7 children. It was a large and noisy household, and they didn't have much as their father was a storekeeper who sold household items like bread and matches and things like that. Her father unfortunately died in a ghastly motor accident when he went to the neighboring town to buy goods for his store. Anna was only 16 years when he died and had just entered her final year in secondary school. With a large family to support, her devastated mother felt she needed Anna to stop her schooling to help her look after her younger siblings, the youngest of whom was just 2 years old. Together, they did what they could to sell items from the shop. It was a very difficult and wretched few years. Anna's older brother, whom her mother adored so much, came home one day talking about a man of God he had met who had prophesied to him that he would become a great evangelist. Before they knew what was happening, he had followed this man to Ghana and was never heard from again. Her mother, who was beautiful, bless her, but was never really in great health, found herself unable to cope with being a young widow and then losing her beloved son. She collapsed a month later and died. Anna was told that her mother died of a broken heart. And so Anna became mother and father to her remaining 5 siblings and was at the mercy of relatives who helped so inconsistently that it was impossible to rely on them. It was as if darkness had descended on the family and there was no hope of change. However, Anna was strong and she was wise beyond her years. She worked hard at the shop that her father left and taught her younger ones to study hard to get the education she couldn't get. Her siblings all grew up doing well in their careers. Anna was never married. She felt she had no time to marry when she had her siblings to take care of. It was only when her last sibling left secondary school that Anna, now in her 50s, went back to school. She obtained a degree in marketing and finally gave up her father's old shop that had sustained the family for many decades, and she took a job in a big firm as a marketer. All seemed rosy, but little did she know that trouble was knocking on her door. It started as any normal day. Anna got out of bed, and as she turned to make the bed, her eyes fell on the red stain on her sheets. Her hands trembled. She felt a wave of fear roll over her. It wasn't the first time it had happened, but this was the first time it was this much. She had her last period when she was 51 years old and had not had any more bleeding for the past 7 years, up until this year when she started noticing some bleeding from her vagina. Each time she whispered to herself, "It's nothing, it's just stress. Maybe I have overworked myself." It had indeed been busy at work. She was in charge of a large marketing team and was feeling the pressure to manage the team and make them deliver their quotas. So she threw the stained sheets into the laundry, determined to forget it. But that night, as she lay in bed, a terrible sharp pain shot through her abdomen. She called into herself, startled and frightened by the intensity of the pain. It was deep, it was unfamiliar, and it lingered after the cramp subsided. The days turned into weeks, And this vaginal bleeding persisted. Sometimes it was light, sometimes it was heavy, but always there, a constant reminder that something wasn't right. But it was the incident in the grocery store that finally shook Anna. She had been standing in line at the checkout. Then she felt a warm trickle down her legs. She froze, her heart pounding. She left the line, abandoned her shoppings, and rushed to the restroom in the mall. There, in the privacy of the bathroom, she stared in horror at the bright red streaks of blood on her thighs. A chill ran through her, a sense of something terrible that she couldn't shake off. She cleaned herself, and as she was washing her hands in the restroom, she glanced at the mirror. Dark circles framed her once bright eyes, and her skin looked almost dead under the harsh fluorescent light. I looked terrible, she muttered to herself. She knew now that she couldn't keep ignoring this annoying bleeding. She had to go check it out. But first of all, she had a major client meeting the next morning, which she had to get done. She had the PowerPoint presentation all tidied up. It was a masterpiece that she was proud of and was looking forward to deliver it. The next morning, she woke up with excitement. She had already forgotten the events of the previous day. Her board meeting started at 11 a.m. and she knew she was looking her best. She was confident, she was prepared, she was ready. The 7 faces in the room stared up to her in expectation. Her boss nodded slightly as Anna took the floor. Anna was his hardest worker and he knew she would deliver. Anna felt a gush of pride. That little 16-year-old confused orphan had come a long way. If only mother was alive to see her little girl become somebody. As she opened her mouth to start the presentation, she suddenly felt a rush of wind in her head, as though her head was full of cotton wool. A severe dizziness just took hold of her, and she saw the floor heading to her so fast, as if in a distance she heard the collective gasps of the room as she felt herself collapse on the floor. A loud clatter, toppling the contents of the table, including her laptop, right down to the floor in a massive crash. Her colleagues called an ambulance in a panic. Before she could recover, she was headed to the hospital in a blast of siren. Her best friend Uche sat next to her, holding her hand and crying. The doctor was calm and professional and listened as Lisa described her symptoms. Words like persistent bleeding, unexplained pain, these seemed to hang in the air, heavier than she had expected. The doctor did a pelvic ultrasound and then took a biopsy, a bit of tissue from her womb. As Lisa lay on the examining table, staring up at the sterile ceiling tiles, a sense of dread crept upon her. She couldn't escape the unease growing in her chest. The hospital stabilized her with some IV drips and later allowed her home with her friend. The next few days passed like a mist, and then the call came a week later. Anna sat on her bed, gripping her phone so tightly as the doctor's voice delivered the news. Anna, the biopsy confirmed that this is womb cancer that you have got. The words hung in the air. The tears came in a torrent, and Anna could not hold them back. Womb cancer is also called endometrial cancer. It is a cancer that affects the womb, the uterus. In the UK, uterine cancer or womb cancer is the 4th most common cancer in women. It is commoner in women who are menopausal. How serious it is depends on how big the cancer is, how fast it has spread, and the woman's general health. Womb cancer is also called endometrial cancer. It is a cancer that affects the womb, the uterus. In the UK, uterine cancer is the 4th most common cancer in women. It is more common in women who are menopausal. And how serious it is depends on how big the cancer is, whether it has spread, and the woman's general health. Now, the NHS says that the main symptoms of womb cancer can include bleeding or spotting from your vagina after the menopause, heavy periods that are unusual for you, vaginal bleeding between your periods, a change to your vaginal discharge. Other symptoms of womb cancer can include a lump or swelling in your tummy or in the area between your thighs, where we call the pelvis. If you have pain in your lower back or your pelvis, that can be a sign. Pain during sex, changes to how often you are passing urine or you are moving your bowels. The NHS also says that some factors that can increase your chance of getting womb cancer include being overweight, taking some types of HRT, or if you've never given birth, or if you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, or if you went through menopause after the age of 55. So you might also be more likely to get womb cancer if you have diabetes, if you have a family history of bowel, ovarian, or womb cancer. So someone in your family has had bowel, ovarian, or womb cancer. That puts you more at risk. Or if you take medications that are used to treat breast cancer, like tamoxifen, or you have had radiotherapy to your pelvis. Unfortunately, Anna was found to have stage 4 womb cancer, which is the worst stage. Only 18 people out of 100 women with stage 4 womb cancer will still be alive in 5 years. It is that bad. And Anna had been having vaginal bleeding for a total of 6 months before the collapse that took her to the hospital. Unfortunately, in that time, the cancer had a chance to spread far and wide in her body. Despite surgery and chemotherapy, Anna died 4 months later, surrounded by her loving siblings who never had a chance to pay her back for giving up her life to be both mother and father to them. Anna's story is a reminder that our bodies often whisper before they scream. If you notice something unusual, like persistent vaginal bleeding, don't ignore it. Early action can save your life. Listen to your body. It's always trying to protect you. Honestly, I was moved to tears as her friend Uma recounted the story to me. We all know individuals, our mothers, our aunties, our fathers, our sisters, our brothers, who have given their own life to care for others, but they never stop to care for themselves. These people are heroes, bless them, and very selfless, but we want them to be alive to reap the fruit of their kind works. Anna's siblings had been planning to celebrate her 60th birthday in grand style, but they never got the chance. What do you think about this sad, devastating story? I am keen to hear your thoughts. Please type into the chat. If you're worried about any of these symptoms mentioned in this story, please get in touch with your doctor and get checked out. No matter how busy you are, please take care of yourself because you are worth it. So, we have come to the end of this video, friends. If you're new here, kindly subscribe, give the video a nice thumbs up, and drop your comments down in the comment section. I'll be reading. Share the video as you may save a life. And stay tuned because we have so much more coming your way. It's me, Dr. Adeze, and this is your wellness channel. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.